tournament champion, middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America, on air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block.
That is right. On the Block coming your way here on a Wednesday. Thanks for tuning us in, whether it's on your radio dial, on your computer at theticketfm.com, or on the Sartor Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Drop a like, drop a follow, turn the notifications on. Make sure you don't miss anything going on with our show or anything else we're doing here at 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Austin Norman, joined as always by the man, the myth, the legend, Eric Strickland. How you doing today, Stricky?
Wonderful, wonderful. It's a beautiful day outside today. I'm so glad to see it. I was tired of the snow, and now I'm excited to have some sun and hopefully some fun. Yeah.
You know where else you can have fun? Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul.
Yes, you can. You can definitely get out there and get a meal or two and let it marinate in your stomach. Enjoy it to the fullest because Charles and the crew will put it together succulently with a kiss. Go out there and get it done. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, 27th Pine Lake. You can get it anytime. And today is a day to go get it. Wednesday, they're open.
Yes, sir. Make sure you do that tonight or throughout the weekend. Make sure there's time for you to get down to Mary Ellen's. Busy show for you today. We'll start off talking some World Baseball Classic. And now that that's over, what are the takeaways, especially for Team USA as they look to the next one coming up in 2026? Bottom of the hour, we'll hear from Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. He's out at Nebraska Football Pro Day. We'll get some spring ball thoughts and baseball thoughts from him as well. Playing the shootout with Strick to end the hour. Top of the 3 o'clock hour, we're going to talk about the Sweet 16. We'll go through, we'll rank the teams before the games get underway tomorrow for on the men's side. But then, Strick, you also brought this to my attention, a lawsuit against the Ivy League schools, Princeton included. What does that mean? So we'll get into that in the
Stay tuned, second hour.
Absolutely. 402-462-5685, the number for you if you want to chime in on anything we're talking about. Back to the baseball last night, Strick, in Miami. Team USA falls to Japan, 3-2 final score.
Yeah.
And the lineup wasn't usually the problem for Team USA throughout the tournament, scored a lot of runs. Trey Turner went off, did his thing as the 9-hole hitter most of the tournament, only scratching out 2 runs against a team like Japan. 2 runs isn't going to win you the game, but Japan's pitching staff is absolutely loaded. Yeah. Not a whole lot of shame in that. To me, the bigger issue is the pitching staff. I know they only allowed 3 runs in the final to Japan, but Japan has one of the best pitchers on the planet in Shohei Ohtani that they bring out of the bullpen to close out the game last night. Roki Sasaki, that's a name you guys are going to need to know. 21 years old, through 17 straight perfect innings in Japan.
Yeah.
So he's going to be a name to know. There are just so many top-tier, elite, United States-born pitchers that weren't in this tournament.
Yeah, and you got to ask the question why. What is it? Was it a scouting thing? Was it just something that they, wanted to go with some, higher maybe profile names? Because at the end of the day, like Clayton Kershaw struggled.
Kershaw backed out.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. He's a struggle to even get into these types of situations. He struggled. Just to even get on board. And so what is it? What is it that, these type of pitchers is not willing to step into this type of challenge? I think it's one of the best parts of baseball. I mean, what better way to get involved? Now, is it the thing where a lot of players like Kershaw and those who are backing out, is it one of those things where they feel like the dunk contest for like the back or the all-star game? Like most of these guys would much rather have more of their time to themselves, where their families, they know spring training's coming. But what better way to challenge yourself than to go to this event with high stakes involved? Each night is a night that you need to step up and make it happen. And you're doing it for the country. If you're not playing in the Olympics or doing things like that, what better way to do it than the WBC?
Right. Part of the benefit of spring training is that it's low stress innings. You can work on stuff, but we all know that it's spring training. You don't take anything too seriously there. Whereas with the World Baseball Classic, you could tell how much it meant to guys, regardless of the team they played on, to represent their country, to be playing actual meaningful innings and, seeing meaningful pitches night in, night out. It meant a lot. So to me, that'd be a better way to ramp up for the season than spring training would be, at least in some ways, not in every way. I don't know how much of it is on the pitchers themselves not wanting to participate. I'm sure for some of them, that's what it is. But I do think, Strick, there's still a lot of worry from MLB teams about letting their pitchers go. Because you look at someone like Jacob deGrom with the Rangers, didn't pitch. Coming off an injury, okay, I understand that. But if Jacob deGrom's healthy, he needs to be out there for Team USA if they want to consistently say we have the best players representing us. Clayton Kershaw, tail end of his career, still throwing gems, not out there. Corbin Burns from the Brewers has been dominant the last 3 years. He's not out there. Shane McClanahan, Garrett Cole, names we know. Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler. Plenty of guys the U.S. could throw out there to, Shohei Ohtani's different, but at least on the pitching side, match what he does. To match what Urias did for Mexico. All the guys from the Dominican, Puerto Rico, Cuba, Venezuela. I mean, there's so many guys out there that other teams have. And I don't know if that's because of the major league team they play on is letting them do it. If these guys said, nope, screw it, my team thinks I'm going to go play for my country. I don't know what it is, but the position players, the lineup for Team USA is stacked as you can get. The pitching staff, they got to find a way to get some guys.
So let me ask this question. Do you think it has anything to do with the desire for some of those others, right? Mm-hmm. They just have so much country pride, right? Mm-hmm. That it's like they have to ask the question, like they're talking to their organizations, and they're like, look, I'm going to play for my country, my brothers, my brethren.
Can't miss this.
And they
will not miss this.
And they're very serious about it, because I mean, when you look across the board from Japan all the way down, Korea, just all of them,
the flipping Netherlands.
Yeah, they're serious about it. Yeah. Like they really care. And like you said, I think the fielders, the players in the outfield, the infield, the catchers, so forth and so on. I think they feel there's what better tune-up than I could have than to see this type of pitching at this level right now. Mm-hmm. Because when you get, there's a lot of guys in spring training that you're going to see that are AAA guys trying to move up, AA guys trying to move up. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be the best of the best. I think they feel that you can get the best of the best. And that's what happened when you had this matchup between Shohei Ohtani and Trout, who they stand. What better way to end a WBC than to have these two top tier competitors? And he still is an anomaly to me with what he's able to do with the bat, and he's able to throw cheddar at 100 plus miles per hour and be effective on both sides of it. And you come down to the end, it's brother Imano against Imano, or Mano against Imano, or Mano, and let's see who gets it done. You got to love it. That's so good for that WBC, I think.
For WBC, for baseball across the world. And Japan beat Mexico in the semifinals. And Mexico's manager, Benji Gale, just had a fantastic quote about how Japan, won the game, Mexico lost the game, but the sport of baseball in Mexico won, because that's a team that completely, captured the hearts of that team. Mexico should have room for both soccer and baseball. It has to. I think that team, the way they played, they won that group.
Yeah.
Mexico won the group with the U.S. in it. That team did so much good for that country. You see the pride on the Czech Republic. Guys that just worked 9-to-5 office jobs. Yeah, they got beat around. They didn't make it out.
Yeah.
Look at the joy on their faces to play, to represent their country, to get that opportunity. I think we saw that a lot with the position players from the U.S. Trey Turner had the 2 weeks of his life.
Yeah. That
was awesome. But that position player crew was put together by Mike Trout committing first. USA Baseball went to him and said, hey, what is it going to take to get you to play? Mike Trout committed, calls Mookie Betts, who's still one of the best players in the game. Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado were probably the two most consistent players for the U.S. in that tournament. They're there. And then you fill it out with all-stars at every position. There was no one like that on the pitching side for the U.S. They needed one of those big name guys to say, hey, screw the risk. I know there's a season coming up. This means a lot to me. It would mean even more to me to do it alongside you.
Yeah.
Think about what we could do as a team. The position side had that with Mike Trout. The pitching side didn't. So that's something I think the next cycle, the 2026 WBC, that's the U.S.'s target. Find a frontline, legitimate number one, top 5 pitcher in the world type of guy to headline that pitching staff. Because you throw that with the position players, it's just going to make everyone better. And as good as this competition was, Strick, imagine, just imagine if you had like all the best pitchers in the world in it.
What was the pitcher's name from Puerto Rico that got hurt?
Edwin Diaz.
Edwin Diaz, right? So when you look at it from this standpoint, just think of how American pitchers are thinking, right? They're like, see, I told you, this is what. I hope they don't use that as an excuse.
Right.
Because that was a one-off.
Martin Gramatica.
That was a one-off, right? I hope they don't use that as an excuse to not want to participate in the near future of this thing, of the sport. Now, is there a way that they can make it more interesting for guys like the top tier pitchers in the league to want to do it? Is there something can be in addition? Is there an insurance policy that can be, what are some things that can be thrown out there possibly? Sauter Heyman text line, help me. I want to know what can help us to be able to field the best of our best to go against the best of what the world has to offer. And I just don't think we did that. And look how far we got. Just imagine if we did have some of the best of what we had to offer.
You're able to piece it together in 2017 and win it with not much of a pitching staff. Again, if you get the best guys out there, it's just going to make it that much better. And, that's no offense to Adam Wainwright, who's been a really good pitcher, doesn't have the same clout as Mike Trout does. Yeah. Just plain and simple. And
we went through that phase in basketball. I mean,
true. Well, that 2000 team.
Yeah,
2004.
You know what I mean? Then he's finally like, look, we got to go ahead and make this happen. I say the same thing for the dunk contest. I really do think that McClung. Mac McClung, I think he saved the dunk contest. I think he saved that day for, I also think there should be some discipline. Like if you're not doing what you're supposed to, like if I'm like Adam Silver, I'm like Ja Morant, you need to be in the dunk contest next year, my boy. This is part of your, get back in the good graces. Like if you drop the ball in some way, there's some punishment that you got to come in and fulfill at some of these types of events. I don't know what you got to do, but they're just not interesting no more. I think World Cup, like, do you guys, anybody on the Sauter Heyman text line or out there on the that is listening in, do you guys like the MLS league? Do you like the international league in soccer outside of the World Cup, or is it the World Cup for you? You see what I'm saying? Right now, baseball seems to be have a dilemma that they're just not having the same. So what can help to drum up that? Do you funnel it into the WBC? Or, what can we find that can bring up those levels of interest? Because everybody loves the World Cup. You're going to have, the Olympics coming again. You've got all these different things that you can really spurn some interest into some of these games. And hopefully that can be something that can be done.
Keep the thoughts coming here on the text line. We're going to step aside, take our first break of the show. On the other side, we're going to talk Husker football, Husker baseball with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Pro day today, spring ball, 2 practices in, Husker baseball and Creighton last night. Plenty to get to with Evan on the other side.
Colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States, but regular screening can reduce colon cancer deaths by 50%. At-home screening tests such as the fecal immunochemical test, or FIT, can help identify precancerous polyps and prevent colon cancer. FIT is easy to use with no prep needed, can be completed in the privacy of your own home, and to order from your hands. Take a health quiz to know if you are at risk of developing colon cancer. Now is the time to act and ensure that you take the quiz.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln by offering a number of services. From group homes for special needs adults to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the intellectual and developmental disability services your loved one needs to live a fulfilling life. Also hiring. If you're looking for a more rewarding career, learn more about available positions. Learn more about services for your loved ones or employment today at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn. You know, HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS make you glad you did. 5% off. Mention this. Your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934. HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health, wellness, achieve fitness goals, and life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of support. Landmark, your local John internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Our sales, precision ag, parts, and service teams are ready to serve you this planning season. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn or save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
When I played football for Nebraska and in the NFL, I wore protective gear to safeguard my health. Today, I'm not only protecting my health, but everyone in our community by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine. Update your protection with the bivalent COVID vaccine while it's still free. Find out more at healthylincoln.org. That's healthylincoln.org.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's cake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's Fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
March is a month of good luck. From epic runs in basketball to winning Cinderella, springing the upset in college basketball. And St. Patrick's Day. Luck is on your side at Mullen Motors too, because their lot is full of great vehicles to take home. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride, as summer road trips are just around the corner. Your luck starts this month at Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or 1501 Center Park Road.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Areas of fog this morning, then becoming partly sunny with a high of around 53. The north-northeast wind at around 10 to 15. Overnight increasing cloud cover. Could see some showers moving region late. A low down to around 33. Mostly cloudy and cooler tomorrow with a high 49. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are efforting connecting with Evan Bland here, so I hope we can catch up with Evan in just a few moments. But until we get him, Strick, I saw this yesterday. Jaylen Brown being asked about whether he wants to stay in Boston long term. Boston was leading the East for a while. They've fallen off a little bit, still up there, but Milwaukee's overtaken them overall. Jaylen Brown, when asked about staying in Boston, said, "We'll see how they feel about me over time and how I feel about them, but I'll stay where I'm wanted. I'll stay where I'm needed and treated correct." Jaylen Brown, the growth that he's had as a player has been pretty incredible, from really just an athlete at Cal in his first couple of years in the league, getting by with that, to improving his shooting. He's not the best shooter, but he's consistent enough to make teams pay. Still a really good on-ball defender, can get into the paint. Not a great distributor, but he's a good second scoring option for Boston. What do you make of his comments? Do you think Boston needs to lock him up long term? Is there some place that Jaylen Brown would be a better fit?
One of the things that sometimes happens in the NBA, which is very unfortunate, is there's some forms of ego that kind of creep in, right? You know that you're a significant piece to a puzzle, but every person doesn't like to be Robin to a Batman, right? So you have that going on in a lot of different cases. Like it's that dynamic where sometimes you think you have enough strength that you can take on the world, and with you, you can make it happen. Without you, it can't be done. And that sometimes creeps into the minds of some of these young men. Should be wanting to build something together for the long haul, for the long term. You know, guys like Horford are getting older. Marcus Smart isn't getting any younger. You guys are still a young core that can stay together, and then you continue to just add certain pieces to that puzzle to make it work. I think it's scary that not being a non-committal, I think it's smart in a sense that it can give you a little bit more leverage. So whether that's the case is still yet to be seen, but that does happen. That is something that does happen out there. There are probably other situations out there that are very similar. I think one to keep an eye on is the Dallas situation with Kyrie Irving, which him is coming up. So what's going on in that situation is that you've got you've got, this is like a thrown into a test. What's the word I'm looking for? Like a test tube. Like it's a trial. It's a trial and error. You know, you're in the science. You're kind of cooking up stuff. You're testing different, different combinations. Right. This is what's going on in Dallas right now. And so, with Luka being out, it's causing Kyrie to do a little bit more. So you're still not getting to see the fullness of what it could be, because those are two alphas that at times can bump heads. And we saw that in some earlier games where they needed a shot at the last second and they were deferring to each other back and forth. Then no one really was taking the lead on that. And so there's some dangers in those type of situations, but I think Boston needs to iron this out, work this out, because there's been a dramatic shift to the West right now. And why not go out and try to dominate and do your thing in the Eastern Conference? Now, I'm impressed with what's going on in Milwaukee, with what they've been able to continue to do without Middleton, and now with Middleton as they made their run to get to the top.
For sure. So Jaylen Brown making $26 million this year, $28 million next year before he's a free agent. Didn't say he won't come back to Boston, but we've seen what Boston can do with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, obviously guys around them, but they were the engines offensively that got that team to the finals last season.
Yeah.
You would think with improvement from those two role players around them getting more consistent, Boston looked like a player in the East for a long time to come. What Danny Ainge did to fleece the Nets and some of those deals was paying off. So we know what Boston can be. To me, if I'm those two guys, I see that. I think they complement each other pretty well. Jaylen Brown's the better defender. Jason Tatum's improved to where he's fine. Both of them might, need a true point guard to dish it to them. But as long as they can get out of the habit of my turn, your turn, like they did last year, driving into traffic, turning the ball over. Again, that's stuff you can work on.
Yeah.
I think they're good enough complements. I would like to see the sides come together, reach an agreement, see those guys grow together. If Jaylen Brown doesn't end up in Boston, where does he go?
Yeah, so that's a tough one. I think if you're looking at a situation like that, you've got to be looking at a possible swap. I mean, you got to look at maybe, since Chris Middleton's going to be up, maybe he goes over to Milwaukee and gets with Giannis, and that's a good fit for him, right? Because you're looking at Drew Holiday in Milwaukee that doesn't necessarily have, like, if you want to stay in the top tier, that could be a move because Chris Middleton, injury situations, Milwaukee may be a little tentative to stay for a long haul in that situation. So at that point, maybe you do a sign and trade where Middleton will, he'll be a little bit more deferring to Tatum a little bit. He's a guy that's like, I'm okay with being a good sidekick, doing my role. So then you could do a sign and trade with those two, equal out their monies in some form or fashion, or get them close. And then, move Jalen with Giannis. He won't be as like, I need to do this, but I want to win, but I'm going to play an integral part in what this team could be, because Drew Holiday is just a leader. He's just going to distribute. He'll shoot when he has to, but he's a defensive prowess guy. That's what he does. So that could be a good fit for him if you want to do it like that.
On the flip side, say Jaylen Brown does leave, who's a player you'd like to see alongside Jason Tatum that you think would complement him, or who do you think would be good for Jason Tatum in Boston?
I mean, this couldn't happen for a couple of years, but I would say Kawhi Leonard would be a nice fit. Somebody who can get it done in 3 levels of his game. It's just a matter of if he still wants to, how much he wants to. You have that situation, coming down the pike. I could maybe see a Paul George type of situation, but they're both similar style to me, so I don't know for sure if that's the case. Or do you go young? Going young and maybe not having to spend as big of a bag. That's something to kind of look at as well. So, but Jaylen Brown, I think he comes up in 24. He could probably do something a little early. Those two would come out about the same time. So that could be something that could happen.
You were talking about we'll switch conferences here. Go back to the West. You talked about the Lakers a little bit yesterday. In position, out of position. In position, out of position. What is going on out in Los Angeles, Strick?
Man, they don't know if they want it or they don't. I'll tell you this: Malik Beasley has been a great pickup for them because he can absolutely stroke it. D'Angelo Russell still kind of trying to find his way. The thing about them is they're all 2023. So they're going to have a lot of cap room, but it's going to be a matter of who you're going to keep. I think they like Austin Reeves.
Had the game of his life not that long ago.
What I mean? I think they like him. He's restricted. I think the athleticism of Lonnie Walker IV. So they've got pieces now that they can deal. They still got Schroeder. So they've got pieces where they can still work some things out, because at the end of the day, 2024 is when Davis and LeBron both come up, which they have player options on their deals. It's going to depend on how they want to go. They still have great options with Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, who are both restricted. And so they've got things that they can still do uniquely with them. Whereas also they have Malik Beasley on a team option, which those are some things that they know at least they can keep together and see if they want to make a run at it. They're not looking very good right now. They're so up and down. It's like, I don't know if they're even going to make it. And I don't even think, LeBron will get back, but they were so close and playing so well for a portion of time. But it just seems like Anthony Davis is uninterested. He just doesn't seem as, doesn't have a lot of lit fire under him in some situations to me. I don't know.
Which is weird for a guy that's missed as much time as he has with injuries. I would think he would be one of the guys taking it as seriously as he can every time he steps out on the court.
You would think so, right? I mean, like, look, you all been talking about this LeBron, he wins this. Like, if I'm an ego type dude, I'm like, man, bump y'all. I'm about to take this team and show y'all who the man is. Like, that's kind of the momentum. But
LeBron wanted me.
You know what I'm saying? These soft as cotton mentalities these days. A lot of Ralph Tresvants, a lot of men with sensitivity out there. So I just don't know what that's going to look like. He just seems disinterested to me.
You need locked in Anthony Davis to find your way back into the play-in tournament. Here's the thing, Strick. They're not even that far out of having to avoid the play-in. Right now, the Lakers are half a game back of the Jazz, for the number 10 seed. They are 1 game back of the Mavericks in 8th, and they're a game and a half back of the Warriors in 6th. Everything is on the table with 10 or 11 games to play for most teams. If there was ever a time to be locked in on a night-to-night basis to make the playoffs and give yourself a chance, it would be now.
Have you seen their come down the stretch record? I mean, their opponents, a flailing Phoenix without Kevin Durant. You got Oklahoma City, who has a young team, could clip you. They could get you. Chicago's beat down. You got them on a back-to-back. Minnesota might be fighting for some space. You got to go out there and get one done. But that's a stretch they have. It's not tough games, but it's a stretch. They have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 game road stretch ending in LA with the Clippers, which is going to be tough. Utah, they're kind of hit or miss, but you got them on the road. But then you've already lost to Houston, so on the road. So do you go out there and do it again? Not a lot of back-to-backs. There's dates between. They only have one back-to-back, and that's between Utah at the finish of it and LA. And is there going to be some load management during that game? So that's going to be the thing that you're going to keep your eye out for. I mean, it's not a tough stretch that they have, but it's one that if you're not coming to play, you can get clipped on.
Right. It's a dangerous stretch.
It's a dangerous stretch.
Because they've used up all their wiggle room.
Right.
At this point, you have to take every game seriously. And that's where, like you said, coming down the stretch, finishing with the Jazz and the Clippers. I feel confident saying the Clippers are making the playoffs. Take a miracle for them to fall out at this point. So maybe the Clippers are resting unless they're playing for seeding. The Jazz, though, are probably going to end up right where the Lakers are. There better not be any load management from either of those teams if they're fighting for a playoff spot, because that, to me, Strick, would be the kind of defining moment of the attitude of the players in this era a lot of times. Because if you're not willing to play when there's a playoff spot on the line and you're the Los Angeles Lakers, you make the playoffs. Or on the flip side, you're the Utah Jazz. I mean, people wrote you off before this year. If you're going to rest guys with those level of stakes, that to me would be the biggest problem in the NBA.
Well, the danger is you still have the Pelicans kind of sitting right there, and hovering and lurking as well. But again, you have games against those types of teams that are just above you that you can literally push down. You could lose tiebreaker status to them by taking L's in these games. The thing about the Lakers is they don't do well in the division. They're 4-9 against the division, and they're 20-24 against the in the conference, and they're under 500 by 4 games in going on the road, and they've got a long stretch of on the road games. So are they tired? Are they weary? Or do they want it? Or do they not? That's what you're going to find out coming down this stretch.
You mentioned that road record, and Strick, I don't think we've given enough credit to just how drastically different the Warriors are at home and on the road.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like 8-29 on the road.
Yeah, but so if they're 8-29 on the road, then they're 29-7 at home.
Crazy.
I know we heard a lot about the Chase Center now, Oracle across the bay, or the Oracle Arena now across the bay the other way, about how good a home environment that was. There's no way it can be that good in the regular season. The home court advantage means that much, but how is a team that different at home versus on the road? That shouldn't be possible.
Oh man. It could depend on just kind of what your road mentality is, what your road routine is. Is it really about the game, or is it about other things when you hit the road, right? When you're at home, you have family. When you're at home, you have wife, you have kids. There's a little bit of peace and, solace in that aspect of it, routine in that. When you hit the road, it might, let's woo-saw in a different way, right? So it's possible that could be a lot of it. And they have a lot of young players. They have a lot of veteran players. They have a lot of young players. And it could depend on, what happens with that. Now, it's going to be interesting to see when Gary Payton II comes back, what the team is going to look like with that. What's going to happen with Wiggins, so there's still some pieces that if it's added on, that gives you added depth, that's going to give you a different look than probably you would have, can rest guys like, obviously like Klay Thompson and Steph a little bit more during periods of games without them having to exert so much energy. So it's going to be one of those things to keep an eye on. I'm still watching Phoenix though, and listen, they're at 500 for the last 10 games, but if they have a losing streak here, you can find yourself dropping into that playoff situation. So I'm sure they're going to be fighting for their lives as well. But I'm still impressed with Sacramento. Even with the loss of John Morant, the crazy thing about the John Morant situation is in some of their analytics, they actually play just as good without him than they do with him. So that's a situation for them that's not necessarily a rough one.
A couple weeks left in the regular season. We will monitor that and hope to hear from Seth Sabalas at some point. Been a while since you've heard from him. With his thoughts
we hope to get him back, if not this week, then next.
Absolutely. So stay tuned for that. We will talk to Evan Bland at 3:25 now. A little change of plans, but coming up next, your chance to win the Stricken 402-464-5685. Playing the shootout with Strick, going back to the World Baseball Classic statistics leaders.
Oof.
How much do you know that? How much can you guess? Either or? We'll have to see. 402-464-5685. Call now. Your chance to win.
This is Megan Whitaker from the Nebraska golf team. If you've put your clubs away for the winter, it's time to get them back out. There's no need to stop thanks to Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle is home to Lincoln's best indoor golf simulators. It's perfect for every level of golfer, with everything from casual games for the kids to hyper-realistic simulations of some of the best courses in the world. And the best part, no matter what the weather's doing outside, it's always golf weather inside. See for yourself. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Our sales, precision ag, parts, and service teams are ready to serve you this planning season. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. On July 16th, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is transitioning to 988. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
If your home isn't delivering the year-round comfort you expect, call the experts at Bryant. Warm and cool, comfort and confidence. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Call 467-1111.
This is Jay Foreman. When I played football for Nebraska and in the NFL, I wore protective gear to safeguard my health. Today, I'm not only protecting my health, but everyone in our community by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine. Update your protection with the bivalent COVID vaccine while it's still free. Find out more at healthylincoln.org. That's healthylincoln.org.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right in West O and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get a lemon since we back every one of our vehicles with our Peace of Mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on West O Street at Price Right Auto.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Meeting your goal of having a healthy diet has never been easier than with the Venue at Home Healthy Living subscription. Chef-inspired meals that are health conscious and delivered right to your door every week. All you have to do is heat and eat. We offer delicious entrees, gluten-free pastas, fresh rice bowls, soups, salads, and more. Build your own package as a subscription to receive meals every week, designed to help you meet your dietary goals. Order your custom healthy meal package today at venueathome.net.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-665-4650 or online at ambitionelectric.com.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick, brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
402-464-5685. Call now to take on Eric Strickland in Shootout with Strick. Don't let him get away with the free one today, folks. Please don't. As much as you want to, Strick, I can't let you get away with the free
Listen,
one.
this was a rough topic for me. So I'm glad, forfeit for the Strick.
You get a 50-50 chance. There can't be a rough category. You get 4 either-or questions.
Rough category. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We'll give him a few minutes here to
No,
call
no,
in
no,
before
we're
we play the
good.
game. No, we're not good.
Let's move on.
We'll pass some time with the
Let's
text
move
line
on.
here. Someone says exactly 0 of the 14 pitchers on the U.S. staff earned a Cy Young vote last year. Do you think any of the pitchers wonder if they'll be overlooked and not used and would be better off getting work in spring training games? The example used was Brady Singer, Royals pitcher, who threw like 2/3 of an inning, maybe 1 full inning, I think, the entire WBC.
That's interesting. I mean, dang. I mean, that's a great point. I mean, way to throw that out there. I mean, that's a stumper. I mean, because you got to feel that you've taken your time. But you can still get the work that you need, and so I can't say that for sure. But I understand. I can understand that point. Not want to show up.
Don't worry, Strick. We do have a competitor.
No,
we are playing the game today.
We got more questions on the text line.
We don't. I don't see them. They disappeared before my very eyes. We go to the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Welcome in Houston. Houston, you with us?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Hold on the line. We'll give Strick his questions first, and you will get round 2. All right, Strick, ready or not? Looks like a not, but you're going to be ready. Here we go in 3, 2, and 1. He led Team USA in hits. Mookie Betts or Mike Trout?
Betts.
Yep, he led all World Baseball Classic players in RBI. Masataka Yoshida or Trey Turner?
Yoshida.
Yep, he led all WBC pitchers in strikeouts. Roki Sasaki or Miguel Romero?
Romero.
Yep, he pitched the most innings without allowing a run. Si-Woong Park or Noah Skiro?
Noah Skiro.
Nope, it was Park. And this team's offense had the second most hits and second most home runs in the WBC.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Puerto Rico.
1.
It was not El Equipo Rubio. It was Japan, the champion.
I was
second
about
most
to
hits,
say it!
second most home runs.
Why did you just say it? Oh, no.
3 points isn't bad.
No.
For a category
I had to
hated.
panic. It was like on my tongue. It was like, pan. bad. And I just didn't say it. Okay.
Missed opportunity. But hey, for a category you didn't like, getting 3's not bad. I
Okay.
love the fire from you, though. Houston, your round of the shootout here gives you 3 to tie, 4 to win. It begins in 3, 2, and 1. He led all WBC players in home runs. Trey Turner or Ha-Sung Kim?
Trey Turner.
Yep. He led all WBC players in doubles. Yohan Moncada or Randy Arozarena?
Arozarena.
Yep. He pitched the most innings in the WBC. Shohei Ohtani or Lance Lynn?
Lynn.
It was Ohtani. He had the highest ERA in the WBC. Mitch Bratt or Daniel Bard?
Bard.
It was Bratt. This team's offense had the most hits and home runs in the WBC.
Venezuela.
It was not Venezuela.
Sticky!
A good guess. The answer, Team USA. We talked about their lineup and how well it performed. Most hits, most home runs, not enough in the final. Houston, thanks for playing. A valiant effort. Hang up now. You can still win the Stricken 402-464-5685. Caller number 3 gets it. And we get
Y'all
to
give me a heart attack.
the soon-to-be manager of El Equipo Rubio, Rico.
Soon. All right, let's see if I can beat him in the tiebreaker.
Okay, tiebreaker. How many runs did Team Japan outscore its opponents by across the WBC?
8.
Over.
You got the 8 right. The issue is it was 58.
But I got 8.
3-0 against Drake.
No, I got the 8. Yeah. I meant 8 runs a game.
It was very close to 8 runs a game. 8 and change a game.
That's what I thought
well,
that was
5
the
runs
question.
a game, I guess. Sorry. Did my math.
See,
so they
he was
scored 50.
wrong.
They scored about 8 runs a game.
Boo.
So yeah, 58 runs scored, 18 allowed in 7 games for Team Japan.
Dang. They was smacking it.
For reference, Team USA scored 51 runs and allowed 28. Half of them in 1 game, essentially,
Yeah.
to Mexico.
Yeah, to Mexico. Mm-hmm.
So there you go. It looks like we have callers winning the Stricken.
Yes.
We'll do it again tomorrow.
Boy,
it won't be
you almost gave me a
WBC,
heart
though.
attack. Houston was coming at me. I was like, oh no, did he hit it? I was scared.
It was a good guess. It
Good
was
guess.
close.
Now I can have a cigar tonight.
Good. Do it. We still have another hour to go before Strick gets there, though. We're going to talk some March Madness. We'll re-rank the Sweet 16 teams and go through a situation with the Ivy League being sued. Not a school, the entire institution, the conference being sued by a couple former student athletes over what. We'll get to that. And then Evan Bland will talk Husker Pro Day, Husker Baseball, Husker Spring Football, all that good stuff at the bottom of the hour. Stick with us. Hour 2 on the block comes next.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor candy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Hey guys, Nick Sadert here, and I want to tell you about my friends at Spine and Sports Chiropractic. I needed a disc in my lower back years ago, and thanks to the folks at Spine and Sports, I got back to feeling 100%. At Spine and Sports, they use the active release technique, which involves the soft tissue and can alleviate headaches, shoulder pain, plantar fasciitis, and more. What I like most about the ART method is that your doctor will construct a plan that fits your needs because the technique is not a cookie-cutter approach. Allow Spine and Sports Chiropractic to help you feel better. Set up your appointments by call at 402-261-6841.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to residential to agricultural storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel build systems out of Apple and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com. Your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health, wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric. 402-5. We're online at ambitionelectric.com.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right in Westo and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get a lemon since we back every one of our vehicles with our Peace of Mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. See a great selection of affordable used cars on Westo Street at Price Right Auto.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 first year driving. From Nebco's beginnings in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
If your home isn't delivering the year-round comfort you expect, call the experts at Bryant. Warm and cool, comfort and confidence. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Call 467-1111.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Areas of fog this morning, then becoming partly sunny with a high of around 53 and north-northeast wind at around 10 to 15. Overnight increasing cloud cover, could see some showers move into the region late, a low down to around 33. Mostly cloudy and cooler tomorrow with a high of 49. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Meeting your goal of having a healthy diet has never been easier than with the Venue at Home Healthy Living subscription. Chef-inspired meals that are health conscious and delivered right to your door every week. All you have to do is heat and eat. We offer delicious entrees, gluten-free pastas, fresh rice bowls, salads, and more. Build your own package as a subscription to receive meals every week, designed to help you meet your dietary goals. Order your custom healthy meal package today at venueathome.net.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Basketball Hall of Famer at 90, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Yes, it is. Welcome back. Hour 2 tipping off here on the Block 93.7 The Ticket. Coming to you from good old Lincoln, Nebraska. My hometown. I love it here at the station in Lincoln. Got Strick down from Omaha. So that's how we can tell Lincoln's better because you're here.
Show you right. Love Lincoln.
It's great.
I played here for a lot of years. I love it.
The other reason Lincoln is the best, Mary Ellen's.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. The catfish is phenomenal. Go in there and let them fry it up for you. Nice and crisp.
Let them know we sent you.
Yeah, definitely.
We like them. We like you. Because we like you.
We love you guys. The blockheads are always, one of my favorite parts of the day. Love coming shout out with the guys. You guys are heavy on the text line, too. We love you guys when you guys tap in as well.
Yep. Keep it coming. 402-464-5685. The digits to get in. Drop your thoughts. Strick, we're just going to jump right into it here. You sent me this article as we were prepping this afternoon. The Ivy League is being sued by a couple student athletes. What's that all about?
So right now, as we know it, there's a deal with the Ivy League in which they do not pay their the scholarships for their student athletes.
Mm-hmm.
They have it set to where there are certain schools, for example, like Princeton, only if the parents make collectively over $100,000 or under $100,000, then they don't have to pay for any of their school.
I think in different schools like 75
for another school. So they have a range of that. There's something called the Sherman Act, in which a lot of them they're really staying tight to right now, and it's being challenged. So in 56, they all collectively came together and they decided that they were going to not do any scholarship payments, kind of a equal rights type of deal for each of those schools. 79, they re-upped it and made some adjustments to it, but it's still been holding true. There's two plaintiffs out of Brown. So how this initially started, though, was two Penn graduates submitted letters and thought that it needed to be a change done. Did not get any responses from any of the schools. So then it kind of escalated. And then these Brown students, two Brown students.
As in students that attend Brown.
They both play. One is Grace Kirk. She's a member of the women's basketball team. And Tamanang Cho, who is on the men's basketball team from 17 to 2022. They're the plaintiffs that are representing the Ivy League students in this case. So with this class action lawsuit, they're just basically putting themselves in a position to open that up and make a change to that. Now, the way I look at it, when you look at the success of the program, there's no team that has gone to the third round except for Cornell. Cornell was able to do it in 2010. There hasn't been one that has done it since. So this is new territory for Princeton. There has been some that have gotten through the first round, maybe the second, but never through the third. So they're looking to break that mold. You got to look at it from a standpoint of, with NIL situations now, you also got to look at the standpoint that these schools have over $200 billion of endowments
between them.
Mm-hmm. So yes, we understand that the academics is an important thing for the Ivy League schools, but they are participating in an area in which athletes, they are still making money, not to the tier of like some of the top blue bloods and the new bloods, but they're still benefiting from this in some form or fashion. And so it's going to be interesting. I'd like to know what you guys think. Do you think the Ivy League schools, 402-464-5685, do you think the Ivy League schools need to change this? Does this need to be a change where they open it up to allow them to have scholarships? How do you view it?
That's where I'm curious to see, because as I was reading that article, the student athletes aren't challenging necessarily that the schools aren't offering athletic scholarships, but they're challenging the reason they're getting away with it, which is that Sherman Act. So basically, my understanding of it is that if the 8 Ivy League schools had independently decided not to offer athletic scholarships, there's not really anything that
so it's
student athletes
antitrust
could do.
in a sense.
Exactly, right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they're challenging the Sherman Act, saying that this is a violation, that's antitrust, and these Ivy League schools are holding the market back or setting the market at a place it shouldn't be. In the student athletes' favor, Strick, is stuff that the Ivy League put down on paper. So going back to 1945, this is from the Ivy League website, ivyleague.com, from that article you sent me. So from the Ivy League website, it says the first Ivy Group agreement was signed, applying only to football. It affirms the observance of common practices and academic standards and eligibility requirements, and the administration of need-based financial aid with no athletic scholarships. Move it back to 1954. Then that next year, the Ivy presidents extend the Ivy Group agreement to all sports. And then back in 1979, yes, the 25th anniversary of that, the Council of Presidents that was made back in the 40s or 50s, issues a 10-point statement of principles. They called it reaffirming basic goals with regards to admissions, financial aid, and the role of athletics in the undergraduate educational experience.
Yeah.
So it just seems weird that the Ivy League wouldn't offer athletic scholarships.
Yeah.
Why
is the
would
hinder-
you not?
Yeah. What? So that's the way I look at it. And that's why I want to hear from you. Is there something I'm missing? 402-464-5685 in the way that I'm processing this, Austin. Is there something I'm missing? Because why would you not?
So
like if a kid, so here's the thing. A kid that would have an extreme academic, acumen about themselves in the way that they do business, or their MIT level type, mind, or they're super good at debate, or in their specialties, they get special academic credits for that. Why would you hinder someone that has an athletic ability that's uniquely different than the other person? So it's no different than to me, that if you're talking about in business, you're talking about some of the top 500 companies in the world, the S&P 500, some of the elite companies in the world, that there's certain specialties that somebody brings to that, and that comes to that marketplace. Why should it be hindered because of that? That's the part I have a problem with understanding.
My guess is that a significant chunk of athletes in these Ivy League athletic programs still do receive that need-based financial aid.
Yeah.
So
they're going in debt.
No.
Yes. Need-based financial aid. So if you're not on scholarship, you're getting some form of either a grant, or you're getting some form of a loan in order to be there.
Gotcha.
Right.
So in that case, either way, they're getting some money to attend school.
Yes.
It's one thing if it's, like you said, a grant that puts them in a place they have to pay it back. And I know some people are going to be out there, well, they're Ivy Leaguers. They'll make it up in 2 years anyways. It's expensive to go these places. Just because they're most likely making more money when they get out of college, they still got to pay it back.
Facts.
Just like the rest of us. If the schools have $200 billion dollars between them, Harvard itself has 50 billion, not million,
yes,
billion dollars
sitting in the biz naive bank.
Yes. Why can't that go to student athletes?
That part.
Here's the other thing. Even if these student athletes, if these schools want to say, oh, well, they're still getting money, wouldn't you want the good publicity of having one of your student athletes go on social media and say, hey, I got a scholarship from an Ivy League institution? We see it
because you have to have the academics in order to even get entered in.
Yeah.
So
I feel like it would go a long way for the school. Again, they're Ivy League schools. People want to go there anyways. But I feel like it would still, bring social media traction, attention, and a positive light on these schools if their recruits were able to post something about grateful to receive a scholarship offer from Harvard, from Princeton, from Cornell, whatever school it is. So to me, there's no real downside to this for the institution, unless they just really don't want to deal with the same issues of keeping track of scholarships like every other athletic department around the country does.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing that we're going to be watching. I mean, we're going to keep our eyes on it. It's in motion. How long it takes is still one of those things that you just can't really put a finger on. But I just find it interesting being that these young men, even the women that compete, these young men are giving the best that they have to offer in a realm that most would not expect them to be, and have that type of success, being that they're playing against those top tier scholarship guys, but yet they can't have what those guys have, and yet they're beating the competition. I think that's dope, but at the same time, I think they're deserving. I think some of those young men and women are deserving of, if they have a special skill, then why not? I'm wondering, do they even get NIL?
That's the other thing I'm curious to know, because I'm sure there would be opportunities out there, but when you think about these students going to these schools, I feel like it's the 4 for 40 kind of thing that you hear Stanford prop up all the time. They're making the connections that'll get them And you can't put a price on that, as I'm sure some people would say. There ought to be NIL out there for them. I hope there's opportunities for them to go after it and use it. Because again, if you have enough money from your alumni base to have $200 billion in endowments out there, I would like to think you could have your donors, reassign some of that money to go directly to the student athletes who are representing that university.
Facts. Yeah. That's the way I would view it. That's the way I would see it. I'm hoping that it works out on their behalf. Something to keep an eye on. No doubt about it.
Let's re-rank the Sweet 16, Strick.
Let's do it.
Games start tomorrow. I have ESPN's rankings pulled up right now. They have Princeton, the 15 seed that made it to the Sweet 16, as the number 15 team. No disrespect to Princeton, but I do disagree. ESPN has Florida Atlantic ranked as the number 16 team. Florida Atlantic has been a top 20 team in the net most of the season. I would put Florida Atlantic up there ahead of Princeton.
Yeah, I've seen rankings that have it that way, and I would venture to say that would be the case as well. The surprise for me is Xavier's as far down as they are, but I can understand. But yeah, I think I would have FAU ahead of Princeton, no doubt.
Let's jump up to the top of the rankings because there's not a lot of separation between a lot of these teams in the middle, I don't think. Basically from Michigan State, who they have 14th up, through probably UConn at 5. There's not a lot of separation. You're nitpicking at that point, in my opinion. The number 1 team, according to ESPN, is Alabama.
That's
Do you agree?
That's pretty synonymous across the board. They came in as the top dog, and at this point, they've shown improve. But I'm going to be honest with you. I think San Diego State athletically match up very well with this Alabama team. They're going to give them, obviously, Texas A&M Corpus Christi was not anything in the realm of what they had to face. I would have loved to have seen this Alabama team face like a Princeton early on or somebody like that, and see that would have gave me a little bit better feel about what this team has to offer. But they have a high-powered offense. They at times tend to start slowly. You had the situation where Brandon Miller went scoreless, but yet they still put up 90-some points. So they just haven't played a team to me yet that would help me to feel a little bit better about where they are as far as in it being number 1. Now, I think Houston has dealt with a little bit more adversity, being that Marcus Sasser has been hurt a little bit. He's kind of been playing with that growing situation.
Shed hyperextended.
Shed, yeah. So they've kind of we talk about guards. Guards are very important, but for them to have to deal with the adversity, they're going to have a tough match against Miami. Miami is just as athletic, just as long, just as wiry, run. They got all the pieces. So this is going to be a dangerous game for Houston.
If Houston was fully healthy, would that be enough to bump them ahead of Alabama for you, or do you still have Bama number 1?
Actually, to be honest, for me, I really like Texas.
Okay, Texas is 4th on ESPN. Where would you have them?
I would have Texas up there, either 2 or 1 for me.
Woo!
Right now.
Okay, lay it on me.
I actually have them winning it. I have Texas winning it. For me, it's like once the situation happened with Chris Beard, Rodney Terry came in, and it's like they heard another voice. It was like a wake up out of a sleep or a slumber. And they got through that whole situation after the indefinite suspension of Chris Beard. Terry's led them to a 21-7 record, a Big 12 title, and the program's first Sweet 16 since 2008. And so I've got to feel that they were playing for him to take over and become possibly the coach of that team. They're really so they're playing with a lot of passion, a lot of energy, and they beat a really good Penn State team. They beat a really good Penn State team, and that because Penn State, with their guard play, their ability to stretch you, they look very comparable to what a lot of teams that you're going to see in this tournament that go deep. And so I like the way they handled it.
The team we skipped over in the top 4 then was UCLA. UCLA to me is Houston West Coast, where when everyone is healthy and available, UCLA is tough to beat. The issue is you're down your best perimeter defender. You leave a guy named David Singleton on the floor with an ankle injury. Adem Bona just came back from whatever he's the only thing that think it was a shoulder for him. If everyone's healthy, yeah, you trust UCLA. But Strick right now, they're pretty clearly the fourth team out of that top four.
Yeah, I would say I have them at that. Being what they have with the injuries and the little mild injuries that they have, Gonzaga is going to pose a tough match for them.
I would have Gonzaga ranked ahead of UCLA right now.
Yeah, and that's the way I do view it. Gonzaga's at 6.
Okay,
but I would, you can make a case for that. I would say they're better than UConn to me.
Gonzaga or UCLA?
Gonzaga.
Yes, with you.
Yeah, I would say they're better than UConn. But listen, I'm gonna be honest about this part. Adama Sanogo is balling right now. He's doing things that I was, he seemed for me to be very raw and very just kind of unorthodox a little bit. But listen, the work he's put in, against Iona and St. Mary's, yeah.
He's that dude.
52 points, 21 rebounds, work out.
Would have liked to have seen that guy wearing scarlet and cream.
Whew. Yeah, that type of guy. That type of guy would be a nice fit right now.
At any team in the country.
That part.
Oh, and here's the thing. If Sanogo has an off night, they bring in 7'2" freshman Donovan Klingon, who's leading the country top 10th percentile in block rate. Really good rebounder, lob finisher. Sanogo's playing well. You have a confident backup. Can they avoid turnovers? I still don't fully trust UConn's guards.
Yeah, that's the part for me too. There's not full trust there with them, and as the intensity and as the tightness of going deeper into the tournament starts to come into play. That's what you need. You need that calming force, and I just don't know if UConn has that.
You can call me a hater. I also don't think Tennessee should be as high as ESPN has them.
Boo.
I just don't. Again, call me salty, call me a hater. I just don't think Tennessee is that good. I think they're overperforming.
I would say they're overperforming, and I had them going deep in my bracket, and the reason is I liked who they were matched up with, and you're right. There's nothing sexy about them. There's nothing that makes you feel really good about it, in any form of the way that they play the game. But I just liked where they fit in the bracket, and to me it went for a long run. Now whether the ranking fits where they are, maybe not, but yeah, I like them running deeper. I actually think right now Michigan State is playing better than anybody, and having them down, at 10 or below, to me is tough right now.
You're giving Izzo exactly what he wants. Stop it.
Yeah. You're giving him the fodder that is needed in order to push it out to his team and let them know, what they're going to need to do in order to make everybody feel sad about and break some brackets, even more than what they've already been broken.
I'm thinking we'll pick the Sweet 16 games tomorrow, start the Elite Eight then on Friday. So stay tuned for that. On the other side, we got Evan Bland. We'll actually talk to him now.
Oh, well, real quick.
Yes.
Watch out for Arkansas.
Talented.
Watch out. Arkansas. Watch out for Arkansas. I mean,
put your shades on.
I actually think they have what it takes to take down UConn. I think they do.
Eyes emoji.
That's it.
We'll stay tuned. You should stay tuned as well. Evan Blaine comes up next.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 419-330 needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln by offering a number of services. From group homes for special needs adults to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the intellectual and developmental disability services one needs to live a fulfilling life. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a more rewarding career, learn more about available positions. Learn more about services for your loved ones or employment today at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wines at 54 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Spring Sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
There's nothing Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meals of certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone, the line, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know how proud you and everyone at the dealership are to earn the prestigious Honda President's Award year after year, 17 times. Tell our listeners what it means to you and your customers.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, all of us are extremely proud to have earned this award, and I want all of our customers to know it's not just earned by one person's effort. It's the entire dealership, sales, parts, and our amazing service department.
17 times. Wow. How does that compare to other Honda dealers?
This award is only given to the most elite dealerships that demonstrate excellence. We really do strive to go above and beyond for the ultimate customer experience before and after the sale, Charlie.
That's why for 2022, Honda of Lincoln is once again Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer. Experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 7th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States. Regular screening can reduce colon cancer deaths by 50%. At-home screening tests, such as the fecal immunochemical test, FIT, can help identify precancerous polyps and prevent colon cancer. FIT is easy to use with no prep needed, completed in the privacy of your own home, and are often free to order from your local county health department. Take a health quiz to know if you are at risk of developing colon cancer. Doing so will help your family and yourself.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
The Empire brand is growing with ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting. ESC is your place for custom handrails, industrial and commercial painting, and more. ESC provides custom welding for aluminum and stainless steel and media blasting of all sorts. ESC has great attention to detail. They stick to deadlines and keep within your budget. If you can dream it, they can make it. Contact ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting in Waverly today at 531-207-9329.
Meeting your goal of having a healthy diet has never been easier than with the Venue at Home Healthy Living subscription. Chef-inspired meals that are health conscious and delivered right to your door every week. All you have to do is heat and eat. We offer delicious entrees, gluten-free pastas, fresh rice bowls, soups, salads, and more. Build your own package as a subscription to receive meals every week, designed to help you meet your dietary goals. Order your custom healthy meal package today at venueathome.net.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. On July 16th, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is transitioning to 988. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
93.7 The Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Areas of fog this morning, then becoming partly sunny with a high of around 53. The north-northeast wind at around 10 to 15. Overnight, increasing cloud cover. Could see some showers move into the region late. A low down to around 33. Mostly cloudy and cooler tomorrow with a high of 49. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Jumping right into it here, bottom of hour 2 of On the Block. We go to the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Welcome in Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Evan's been busy covering Husker football, Husker baseball. Evan, able to catch your breath at all with everything going on?
Yeah, this is a nice chance to take a little break here, but it has. It's football season, baseball season. It's all good.
March Madness on too. I'm sure you're watching some of that, but you're out at Nebraska's Pro Day today. Who stood out, positive or negative, from that for you?
Well, we didn't get a chance to see the bench press in the weight room this year. We have tended to do that in the past, but there were some space issues. So really what we got to see were the broad jump, so kind of the standing jump, and then the 40-yard dash and some position drills. And so, you know, I think when it comes to the 40, you know, you kind of wondered if Trey Palmer would run again. He had the 4.33 at the combine earlier in the month, and so I think he probably smartly elected to go ahead and keep that number, which was, I believe, number 1 among receivers at that time. So we didn't see Trey run today, but he did some of the other explosion sort of drills, and I think tested pretty well. You know, the number that I know that we had so far was Oliver Martin, the receiver, did a broad jump of 11 feet 2 inches, which for context would have tied for 4th at the combine among all players. So I think he probably put himself on some radars there a little bit. I think generally, though, if you're talking about a player, it'd probably have to be Garrett Nelson, who was not invited to the combine. I think you could probably classify him as a combine snub. Probably should have gotten that invite and didn't. And so anybody who knows Garrett knows that he's going to use that as fuel and to push him and make him better. And I think he was pretty happy with what he did today. I mean, we don't have official 40 times, but probably in the 4.6-ish range. It's kind of hard to say for sure, but he was happy with what he did. And so, you know, again, this is sort of that last chance for a lot of these guys ahead of the draft next month, whether they get taken or to be considered as undrafted free agents. And a lot of Nebraska players have gone that route, and to some success in recent years. So I think generally there was a vibe that guys put all that they had into it. And now there's really not a lot left to do but wait until the draft occurs and see how things play out from there.
Absolutely. Switching off of Pro Day, just to some general Matt Rule spring ball era sort of things. We're a few months into the Matt Rule era now. As you've watched, you've listened, what has Matt Rule done and said that you think he's doing right so far? And is there anything that makes you kind of raise your eyebrows and go, didn't see that coming, or that's different?
Well, I mean, he's been really impressive, I think. And probably the two biggest reasons that I would point to for that would be, one, the attention to detail. And that was something even some of the outgoing players today mentioned, just the little stuff, the fact that, guys are to be wearing the same sort of things, and to report at certain times, and just all the little stuff that maybe can get dismissed as not important or not a priority, becomes a priority because it's reflective of sort of that discipline that you have to have for a winning team. And I think that's been really consistent through all the off-season stuff. So I think that's one. I think his vision for what this program can be has also been clearer than a lot of the previous coaches. I think that there have been a sense in the past of these coaches have said, we're going to come in and do this. We haven't really done it, but this is what we want to do. And Matt Rhule clearly has a history that he can point to and say, you know, we did this at Baylor or at Temple and it worked. And so I think there's just a sense of credibility that goes into that. And then, you know, the other thing, just from talking with Coach Rhule and some of the players on Monday, I think there's just kind of a lightness to it. I think that he has a way about him of sort of stripping away the heaviness that Nebraska has tended to be to players in recent years, where history can kind of feel like a burden, and there's so much support structure that you kind of get lost in it. And I think it's at least for now, it just feels fun to a lot of these guys. I think there was a lightness, just sort of a sense of, you know, let's play football, let's hit, let's go out, let's compete, let's do all the stuff that sort of made us fall in love with this thing in the first place. You know, on the other side, it's hard to say what he hasn't maybe done well to this point. I mean, we're going to get a chance to see a portion of open practice tomorrow. I think that'll be really interesting, kind of our first chance in the media to get a sense for what these coaches are like, hands-on in the moment with players going through drills. You know, how intense are they? And I think that's another area where they're really confident as a staff. I mean, Matt Rhule has said multiple times, inviting recruits to come in and see a practice because, you know, he doesn't want guys committing who don't like kind of the vibe of what a workout is like at Nebraska. So I think that part will be fascinating to see. And then kind of like we've talked about before, there've already been some position changes. I think that his eye and his staff's eye for being creative and finding a way to get different players on the field is compelling. And it's going to be really interesting to see how many of those decisions pan out and how many more maybe tweaks or position changes we have, coming over here in the course of the next month.
So, Evan, with the obviously with the situation, Anthony Grant and the suspension of Tommy Hill, what type of impact do you think that's having with this squad, being that there's a new regime coming in? You know, what's the level of impact that you think as far as them, you know, getting on their P's and Q's and handling their business? And, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, the thing that stands out to me about that was just how open and upfront Matt Rhule was about that on Monday. I mean, there are times in the past where, Nebraska coaches maybe kind of skirt around the issue, or they have to be asked about it because it's gone through the rumor mill and the message boards for a week, and you put it out there. And he just kind of said, hey, these guys are suspended right now. He didn't throw them under the bus. He didn't say that they were off the team or, you better shape up or else. He just said, hey, these are good kids who need to get the priorities straight. They need to figure out some things academically. They need to focus on the other stuff before they can focus on football. And I think, if you're upfront about that and you're bold enough about doing that can give you a lot of credibility within the team. And these aren't, backups or walk-ons being suspended. These are two players who were prominent parts of last year's team. So if you're holding those guys accountable, you're holding anybody accountable for what it is. So I think that's probably what stood out to me, was just the transparency of it, to say, hey, this is what's going on. There's really no need for further rumors or innuendo or what did he do or whatever. It was just, hey, these are young men who are getting their priorities straight, and we're going to help them do that. So I think that part maybe is another example too of just how the culture is looking different under Matt Rhule.
You mentioned transparency, Evan. I was listening to you and Sam talk on your podcast about the Ethan Piper quote and what he said about being babied. What do you make of that quote and how it came up?
I thought that was the quote of the first practice, quite honestly. I mean, it was not, that was a comment that was not coerced or led or anything. I mean, when he made that comment, it was sort of a continuation of a previous thought. But I thought it really resonated with me because, I mean, you think again about this group of players and all that they've been through, and how the narrative was in the last couple of years about how close Nebraska was, and oh man, these guys are still, good people, and they're still trying hard. And Ethan Piper essentially was just saying, forget that. We don't need to be babied emotionally. We don't need to be babied physically, in terms of lighter practice. He's like, we're football players. That's what we're here to do. Let's go out and cut loose and see what happens. And so I think, again, that's sort of a reflection of how Matt Rhule's sort of stripping away all the extra stuff that you can get so caught up in. And it's football. Let's go out there and hit. Let's see who's better. Let's be competitive. And at the end of the day, the other stuff is going to work itself out, the wins and all that. Like, you gotta go out and play and let these guys do their thing. And so when you have as many resources as Nebraska has, and a lot of good people doing a lot of good things, I think sometimes there is a tendency to sort of get lost in that. And as we know, when it comes down to winning football, it's still about blocking. It's still about tackling. It's still about being the toughest guy out there, and beating another man. And so, I just think that's another sign that what Matt Rhule and company are doing is resonating with this group. And that's a comment coming from a guy who's entering his 5th season with Nebraska. So he's seen, a lot of stuff in his 4 years. And so I thought, again, that was a really interesting comment to sort of gauge the psyche of where this team's at right now.
Switching gears to the other beat then, Evan, to baseball. We saw a fantastic performance by a two-way player last night in not Shohei Ohtani, but in Will Walsh from Nebraska coming out of the bullpen against Creighton. What a moment for him. What do you make of his performance up until, really the first batter of the 9th inning last night?
I mean, it came out of nowhere. I mean, he came into a tough spot. I think it was the 3rd inning with a couple of guys on, and Nebraska was looking for an arm, trying to find somebody that they could trust to put out the fire. And what does he do? I mean, he retires 15 straight, would have been 17 straight if he hadn't mixed in a fielding error in there. And then he runs out of gas a little bit there in the 9th, and Creighton rallies, and obviously a gut punch for what Nebraska was trying to do. But, I think kind of within that disappointing loss was maybe a big moment for them, where they found an arm that they could trust. And that's really becoming clearer as to one of the narratives of this team right now is you've got a top 25 offense. Your defense is performing at a top 20 level. You have 2 legitimate aces in Emmett Olson and Jace Kaminska. But when those guys aren't in the game, who else do you turn to? And we saw it again last night in the 9th. Shea Shanneman was sick. He's their closer. Kyle Perry, they didn't feel like he was ready to go after he'd gotten up and down a few times on Sunday. And they just, who do you turn to? They don't have a lot of arms in that circle of trust right now. And so when a guy like Will Walsh, who had 2 career innings to his name coming into that thing, does what he does, I mean, absolutely, that's going to give you some higher leverage opportunities moving forward. Maybe not this weekend for him against Illinois coming off of that heavy workload, but certainly moving forward. And I think that's going to become one of the stories here the next month is who can you trust for Nebraska in relief or on Sunday. If you can find 2 or 3 guys, that's probably the difference between you contending in the Big Ten and maybe being an average team down the stretch. So big development, not the outcome Nebraska wanted, but I think a sneaky and maybe not so sneaky step forward for that kid who's going to have some big innings for Nebraska here coming up.
11-7-1 overall through the first month and change of the season for Nebraska. Whether you look at the record or you look at some of those pieces that have developed or haven't developed, if you were to give a letter grade to this first stretch of the season, what would you give Nebraska baseball right now?
I'd probably give them a B. I think some of it's gone differently than than what it appeared to be, what I thought it would be, and I think probably what some of the coaches thought. It looked like on paper in the preseason that they would have real depth of pitching, and that the offense would be the question. And really, it's flipped that on its head, where the offense has shown it can go 10, 11, 12 guys deep legitimately and produce in that way. I mean, they haven't had Garrett Anglim in the lineup for like 2 weeks. And for the most part, they've just kind of continued to do what they do. And so, I think that's been a positive. They felt like Olsen and Kaminska could be those guys, and they've gotten better as the weeks have gone on. But yeah, I mean, it's just come down to that bullpen and finding a way to get that thing hammered out late. You look at, you mentioned their record. I mean, that opening weekend, not what you're looking for, but other than that, they've generally taken care of business outside of the 2 midweek losses to Omaha and Creighton. And I know those resonate more with fans because they're against in-state teams. But you see quirky results like that from top teams around the country every week, just because not a lot of people have the kind of pitching depth to win in the midweek all the time. So, I think Nebraska would probably take what they've got. That Vanderbilt win, I think, can continue to loom large as they push for an at-large bid moving forward. And now the goal changes a little bit. Now you're moving into the Big Ten. You've got a pretty good Illinois coming here this weekend. This is their best home series of the season, in my opinion. And so it's about winning weekends. And if you can do that and you're in the conversation in May, then you're playing some meaningful baseball down the stretch. And I think that's where Nebraska believes it can be.
We'll get to Illinois in a second. 2 games canceled for Nebraska as well with Illinois State and Nicholls. So 2 more wins, might, even if the grade doesn't change, would make 13-7 look a little better than 11-7. Illinois this weekend, you just mentioned, and the 3 jersey retirements, Alex Gordon, Darren Erstad, and Shane Komine. What do you expect out of that ceremony? What do you expect from Nebraska and Illinois on the field this weekend?
That'll be a cool ceremony. I mean, those 3 guys that you mentioned really brought Nebraska baseball into the modern era. I mean, Darren Erstad, the number 1 overall pick in 95, what Shea Komine did, sort of bridging that gap from Bud Belzer Field to Haymarket in the 2000s. And then, Alex Gordon, essentially college baseball's version of the Heisman Trophy winner with what he did to end his career here. And those guys, especially Erstad and Gordon, went on to really successful professional careers as well. So it'll be fun to have those guys back and for the fans to be able to honor them properly. But, as for the series this weekend, Illinois has been an interesting team. They've got a lot of wins, and as I've kind of dissected them a little bit, it's kind of an interesting club because you can't really point to one area or one player that does something particularly well. I mean, they're solid across the board, but they're not like elite in any one area. But they find a way. I mean, they've taken 2 or 3 from Southern Miss. They've been competitive with a pretty strong non-conference schedule. And it's a team that, historically in the Big Ten, the last 10 years at least, has finished around the top of the conference. And so, for Nebraska, again, like you look at the rest of their home schedule, they've got Northwestern, Minnesota, which are 2 of the worst teams in the conference, and then Penn State, which is okay. But you got to take care of business at Haymarket. And I think Illinois has proven it's going to be in the mix here down the stretch. So, I think you'll see a well-pitched series where, you're probably finishing in a bunch of 7-5 type of games. And again, it might come down to the bullpen, and maybe this is the weekend Nebraska finds some arms, but the margin for error goes down now that you're onto the weekend. And so I would expect 3 pretty good games between 2 teams that have pretty similar aspirations here moving forward.
It's Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Evan, keep up the good work. Enjoy the little bit of practice you get to watch tomorrow, and we'll hope to pick your brain again next week.
Sounds great, guys. Thanks.
Evan Bland again with us here on the Honda of Lincoln Hotline. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll cross it over. Jay may or may not be calling in, but DP's in the house, so we'll make sure we talk to him. Wrap up on the block after this.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to agricultural storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post Frank Forfeit. You are a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com. Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln by offering a number of services. From group homes for special needs adults to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the intellectual and developmental disability services your loved one needs to live a fulfilling life. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a more rewarding career, learn more about available positions. Learn more about services for your loved ones or employment today at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
So you can genuinely trust. We would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
If your home isn't delivering the year-round comfort you expect, call the experts at Bryant. Warm and cool, comfort and confidence. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Call 467-1111.
Rashawn Dexter for Bauer Infrastructure, veteran-owned company proudly serving Lincoln Lancaster County. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Gabe Irvin, I think a guy who started as a true freshman.
So here's my question to you. So you did praise him by being one of the strongest guys during the offseason, one of the fastest guys to be at 221 with depth chart. I want to see who's number one. That don't mean that Gabe is an automatic starter now.
And I would worry less about Gabe Irvin starting than I would about him finishing.
That's
what Matt Rule said, is he's a fourth quarter grinded out running back where, he said his goal when he was talking about Gabe Irvin is to get 75 yards of rushing in the fourth quarter and to shut out the opponent.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginnings in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com. There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese Beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Meeting your goal of having a healthy diet has never been easier than with the Venue at Home Healthy Living subscription. Chef-inspired meals that are health conscious and delivered right to your door every week. All you have to do is heat and eat. We offer delicious entrees, gluten-free pastas, fresh rice bowls, soups, salads, and more. Build your own package as a subscription to receive meals every week, designed to help you meet your dietary goals. Order your custom healthy meal package today at venueathome.net.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Areas of fog this morning, then becoming partly sunny with a high of around 53. The north-northeast wind at around 10 to 15. Overnight increasing cloud cover. Could see some showers move into the region late. A low down to around 33. Mostly cloudy and cooler tomorrow with a high of 49. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and the Ticket FM.
Wrapping up On the Block on a Wednesday. Austin Norman, E. Strickman with you for 2 hours. Next 2 hours, go to DP and Kenny. Gentlemen, welcome. How are you?
Good. You?
What's happening with you?
Not a whole lot. Kenny, I want to start with you here. As a football player, as a football coach, both aspects, what's the best and worst part of spring ball?
False sense of security, player-wise, and then you can get caught up in all the hype. You know, you see things that they want you to see, and then again, you look at a guy like Yant. Yant goes out and plays well in the spring game. That was a modified spring game. Everybody think he's the savior. And then you bring in guys that compete with him, and now you see where Yant is. So you can get a false sense of reality, but you also can get a look at guys that you can say, hey, that kid's going to be pretty good.
What does something like, for either of you, what does something like what Coach Rule did this early in your tenure with Anthony Grant and Tommy Hill, what can it do for you setting foundation and groundwork? Or is it just something that's just, part of being in the football program?
No, I think every coach, when they take over a program, they try to say, this is how it's going to be. And this is what's going to take place if it's not this way. Could have been done earlier, sooner, yes. Knowing those two guys' track record. But for him to do it and stick to it, you know what I mean? Whereas former coaches made that statement and, it fell on deaf ears. So kudos to him. I mean, hopefully those guys realize what he's trying to do for them, first and foremost, because one, without education, you can't play football.
Yeah.
Without grades, you can't play football. Two, there's rules.
Yeah.
And if you don't adhere to the rules, I always said, take something that means something to a player or whoever away, see if it really affects them. If it doesn't affect them, then they're not going to learn their lesson. So for him to do it at this time is good.
I've always said, that the thing that school, it may not necessarily be something that you take from it and implement it outside of in the real life. But if you're an athlete, I've always said that the lessons that you learn, that the educational part of it teaches you, translates to the next level.
Yes.
Discipline.
Yes.
The willingness to put in the extra work, the time. When you have to get up and get out, are you going to be that same person when that next person is working and you got a contract and you sitting at home? That stuff translates, because you don't want to go to the library and go and do that research. And they got it easy now, my boy.
Oh,
they don't got it like us. They don't got to do microfiche.
No, their classes are all online.
You know what I'm saying?
They don't even go to a classroom setting.
Just research, Google it up or whatever. Now, the difficulty, I will say this is a difficulty, is they have those systems where you have to plug them into the thing and it'll plagiarize your stuff.
Yes.
That part.
Now that part.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
So I will say there's some goods, but then there's also some bads. But DP, when you're looking at let me throw this one thing out to you, DP. So Princeton right now is finding themselves in the Sweet 16. We're talking about it a little bit. What's your thoughts on the fact that Ivy League schools do not offer scholarships, but yet they have $200 billion amongst the 8 of them in endowments, and they don't let you get a scholarship? And they only let you at 75,000 for one of them, and like one of them, another one 100,000. If your parents collectively now are not making up to that amount, then you can go, without charge.
It's a frat. It's a frat. It's a fraternity. It's a fraternity. It's a lifetime fraternity that says that you will pay now to not have to pay and to make more later.
Okay.
That's really a nephew that was at Penn, football player.
Mhm.
Could have gone anywhere in the country. Decided to go to Penn because one, he's my nephew, so he got that academic infusion that Uncle DP threw at him all the time. But they also added, okay, not only are you going to play football, you'll get to play football at Penn. You're not going to get a scholarship, but there are grants and other things that cover that. But then we're also, if you work at the same level in college that you worked in high school, you at this level, we'll put you in the Wharton Business School. Well, the Wharton Business School promises you and guarantees you a business reputation and resume coming out of Penn or out of an Ivy League school that is going to benefit you long term after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
So what does he do? Now, he had a choice. He could have gone to Naval Academy, been there, quarterback, freshman day one. West Point, same thing applies. Air Force, same thing applies. Or Penn, or University of Virginia. He chose Penn. And Wharton Business School is real. It's real. The athletes don't mind because they know, long game, if I do what I'm supposed to do for 4 years, I get to do what I want to do for 40. It's just a message that's not passed along to folks. It's one of the big. I love the academic standard at Nebraska. I just don't like the messaging. Because if I'm bringing a kid to University of Nebraska, not only am I highlighting and touting the athletic department, but I promise you that if you go to class every day and you actually invest in yourself, that you're going to spend the rest of your life working at a high caliber, high esteem company within the state to help make the state better for the next 40 years.
Station ID real quick.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
I mean, think about that. That the young man who spends his 4 years, and I figured out as a high school coach and all over the country. So the last school I coached at in
Is
Houston,
Georgetown like one of those? Similar?
They're missing it too.
Mm-hmm.
They're missing it too. There's no. It was different under John. Georgetown should be Duke.
Mm-hmm.
Should be Duke. It should be Johns Hopkins. It should be Ivy League South. But they're failing in some of that because the focus and attention, the people who get in positions of power are about making their money rather than everybody making their money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a real thing. But the school that I was at, this high school, well, it was a school, mid-level 3A, the young people each family paid $35,000 a year, year for them to go to the school. 35. This is from kindergarten to 12th grade. And that investment over that 12 years, they understood that one, they came out of this school. They only took 50 males and females for every grade. That's it. You had to be top of the line academically and financially just to go to the school. Now, I walked in there and taught them how to play sports.
Mm-hmm.
And they won state titles. They went to 3 straight baseball titles and 3 straight football titles. Because smart people practice the same way they study.
That's what I was trying to get to.
You're the same.
With the Princeton situation.
You're the same. The way
That's
you
what I was trying to get
the
to.
The way
Right.
you practice is the way you study. The way you study is the way you practice. I just need to get the
translates.
messaging right.
Yeah.
And that's what Princeton does on a regular basis, consistently. Nebraska has the same problem and benefit. Their people practice the same way they study. And if you make it really easy for people academically, you're also making it easy for them athletically. Quite frankly, change your messaging and you can change your status.
I believe we have an Ivy Leaguer on the phone right now. Mr. Jay Foreman, you with us?
Man, that dude ain't no Ivy Leaguer. That dude went to the same university I did. Me and Strick went to. He went to the University of Nebraska. Right, Jay?
Yeah, get a little bit of extra, but I knew how to fool them. You
Preach.
brothers didn't know how to fool them. I picked up on game though, man. You know, I got that LASIK surgery. All you gotta do is sit behind or next to the right person. You all good. It's a we college education.
I figured that out.
I was academic all big eight, so
not on your own.
Facts.
Hey,
facts.
Hey,
2 years.
I ain't mad at you, brother.
Yeah. That's after probation, though, my freshman. I ain't gonna sit here and act like I was perfect. I was probation, my freshman.
No, but Jay had a family of folks who had gone through it, who planted the seeds for what the fruit that was going to come later. Young man, why are you here? Why are you doing this? And he got another brother that's doing the work, right? So sometimes in the same space, you pick up those small things. That Foreman household was real.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was ingrained for me as far as my dad being, you know, an officer. So a lot of that stuff was kind of translated to me as far as the discipline, you know, understanding how to navigate. Because, you know, my father being you know, a Black American in service, you know, he told me stories that he used to walk, and there were NCOs that hated to have to salute him. Like it was crazy. But you know, so he taught me those lessons about how to navigate in school, and, you know, understanding there's certain dynamics and take advantage of them. You know what I mean? I came with the aspect of, you using me, I'm gonna figure out a way to use you to get to where I need to. You know what I mean? But yeah, go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a unique. I mean, every athlete, you know, journey is different. Every way that, you know, how you deal with adversity and kind of try to, you know, put whipped cream on dog doo-doo when you kind of see, you know, some of the limitations.
Yeah, that wouldn't taste good.
Athletes that look like us, you know, have to face, and, you know, we're fortunate enough to do it, and that's why we, you know, try to spread, you know, our knowledge, which is probably more than, or should be, or just as valuable as money, to help, you know, people that are coming up. Because even though, you know, like, you know, whether you have a guardian, a coach, or a father, or anything like that, you know, to help you through the process, you know, that doesn't mean that, you know, the youth below us has it, or the things that we've seen, even though it might not be apples to apples, it could definitely be something that they can learn from to navigate some of the stuff. Because I think, you know, what's distinctively different now is people are so quick to throw anybody away, athlete, a CEO, actor, just a, you know, person in general, either by jumping to conclusions, or that's what you're supposed to do. It's like the anarchy syndrome. You know, you get a DUI, you should never be able to play baseball again. You do this, you know, X, Y, and Z. Now, if you're a repeat offender, I understand it, but, you know, everything, you know, everybody's on a pedestal looking down and judging everybody. And it can affect you, you know, obviously the way you're able to, you know, transition from high school to college to pros. You know, I think the one thing that maybe the youth is missing is they do a lot of hearing you. They don't listen. Because when you listen, you actually put it in your memory bank, regardless of how hard the message is in the present day time that you're getting it.
That's the good stuff. I mean, again, a lot of what we do here is have some different conversations. Jay, you're gonna sit tight, right? You're gonna be on this next one.
Yeah. I'm missing tight, man.
Okay, I'm gonna
leaving your boy Elite TJ Flex, so it's all good.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna get out of the way because I want Austin and Kenny and Jay to take this first hour running through, and then I'll jump in the second hour and get it through. We got lots to talk about.
All right.
Good. Stay tuned. Old school. Jay and Kenny, first hour. DP jumping in hour number 2. That'll do it for Strick and I, though. Back with you tomorrow, picking Sweet 16 games. See what else we'll do. Stay tuned. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Old School 93.7. The ticket comes your way next.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services.